Your neighbor seems calmer than they should be. Your cousin doesn't stress about the same things you stress about. Your old college roommate, who used to call you for $50 until payday, doesn't anymore. Something changed. You can't quite name what, but once you know what to look for, the signs are remarkably consistent. Most people assume the difference is luck, or family money, or a high-paying job nobody talks about. Those explanations are wrong about 90% of the time. The actual explanation is usually simpler. They built side income, and they almost never tell anyone. There are 13 signs that show up when someone is quietly making money outside their primary job. Some are obvious in hindsight. Most are nearly invisible until you know the pattern. The signs aren't dramatic. They don't include luxury cars or designer clothes. The signs are smaller, quieter, and much more consistent than the noisy displays that people associate with success. The real signs of quiet wealth in modern America look almost nothing like the displays we see on social media. They look like calm, patience, the absence of stress in situations that should cause it. My name is Nick, and I spend way too much time thinking about money, side income psychology, and why the people quietly building wealth in modern America are mostly invisible to the people around them. If you've ever wondered why some people in your life seem suspiciously unbothered by the same financial pressure that wears everyone else down, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if it ends up clarifying what's actually going on. And let me be clear about something up front. These signs aren't about being rich. The wealthy display their wealth in completely different ways. These signs are about something more specific. Quiet financial security from multiple income streams. That's a separate phenomenon from inherited wealth or high salary. And it's becoming, much more common than most people realize. According to Bankrate's 2025 Side Hustle Survey, 27% of American adults have some form of side income. That's roughly 1 in 4 working age adults. But the share that's quietly building a real second income, not just driving for a nap on weekends, is much smaller. Maybe 1 in 10. And those people work hard to keep it hidden. The Bureau of Labor Statistics tracks multiple job holders separately. In November 2025, 9.3 million Americans were working multiple jobs. Highest number ever recorded since they began tracking in 1994. 5.7% of the workforce. That's the highest share in 25 years. The signs in this video describe both groups, the casual side hustler and the serious second income builder. The signs for the serious group are deeper and harder to miss once you see them. But the casual side hustler is much easier to spot than the serious one. The casual side hustler usually tells you within 10 minutes of meeting them. The serious one might never tell you for the rest of your friendship. Let me walk you through the 13 signs. The first cluster is about how they handle money, stuff that shows up in everyday conversations and consumer choices. The first sign is they don't talk about being broke even when they probably should be. They had an expensive month. They had a car repair. They had a vet bill. Other people would mention it, complain about it, joke about it. They don't. The expense came and went. The bank account absorbed it. That absorbing capacity is the tell. Most people use complaint as a way of metabolizing financial stress out loud. People with quiet side income don't need to metabolize anything. The buffer is there. The second sign is they pay for things without flinching at the price. The dinner check arrives. They don't do mental math. They just put the card down. This isn't about being rich. It's about not having to triage every purchase in real time. That triage is, what financial stress actually feels like. And they've quietly removed it from their life. You can watch this happen at any restaurant, by the way. Look at who reads the menu prices first and who reads the descriptions first. The two groups are different populations. The third sign is they're oddly comfortable with one-off splurges. A nice gift, a spontaneous trip, a premium version of something they don't strictly need. The splurge doesn't ruin their week. They don't fixate on it. They don't talk about it for the next month. It happened, it cost something, life continued. And critically, they don't perform the splurge afterward. They don't post about it. They don't bring it up at parties. It was just a thing they did. And now it's done. The fourth sign is they have weird gaps in their consumer behavior. They drive an old car, but stay in nice hotels. They wear basic clothes, but have premium electronics. They live in a modest apartment, but eat well. These are not the patterns of people optimizing for status. These are the patterns of people optimizing for what they actually enjoy. Status optimization tends to be lumpy and visible. Preference optimization tends to be weirdly specific and quiet. The second pattern is the tell for signs. Let's go to the second cluster, which is about how they handle work. This cluster is honestly easier to spot than the financial one because we're all in workplaces and we all watch each other's reactions to the same workplace events. The fifth sign is they don't anxiously refresh job listings during reorgs at their company. Other people start polishing their resume the day the rumors start. Your friend, your cousin, your neighbor with the second income just goes about their week. Whatever happens at work, they have something else to fall back on. You can watch this play out during any layoff cycle. The same news lands completely differently across two people sitting next to each other. One panics, the other doesn't. The sixth sign is they don't post on LinkedIn about their job. They don't celebrate promotions publicly. They don't announce new roles. They don't make career updates a content series. Their professional identity isn't performed online because their actual identity is connected to something the LinkedIn audience wouldn't fully understand. The seventh sign is they have an unusually flexible schedule even though they have what looks like a regular job. They can take a call at 2 p.m. on Tuesday. They can attend a school event in the middle of the day. Either their job is more flexible than yours, or they've already negotiated something most people don't realize is possible. Either way, they have control over their time that most employees don't. The eighth sign is they almost never complain about their boss. Not because they like them, because the boss has less power over their life than yours has over yours. That power asymmetry is the thing, and it disappears when you have other income. 8 signs in. Now, the relational and conversational cluster. This cluster is more subtle than the previous two. The signs here show up in how someone talks, not in what they do, which means you only notice them if you're already paying attention. The 9th sign is there, oddly knowledgeable about specific business topics, tax structures, payment processors, SEO, sales, funnels, online platforms. These aren't topics that come up at most office jobs, but they come up constantly when you run any kind of side business. Their casual fluency is the tell. You'll be having a normal conversation and they'll casually reference something like merchant fees or quarterly estimates, and you realize they actually know what they're talking about, not just repeating something they read. The 10th sign is they ask weird, specific questions about your work, not about your job title, about your customers, your pricing, your retention. Those are entrepreneur questions. Regular employees don't ask them because regular employees never have to think that way. The person asking is, already thinking that way themselves. And the questions are usually phrased casually, almost innocently, like idle curiosity. But the precision of the question reveals that they've thought about this stuff before in their own context. The 11th sign is they're vague about how they spend their evenings or weekends. Not secretive, just consistently vague. They keep busy. They have a project. They're working on something. They're helping a friend. They never quite tell you what. The vagueness isn't shyness. It's discretion. Telling people what you're building usually invites pressure, advice, judgment, or unwanted offers of help. So they just don't. 11 signs in. Last cluster. 2 signs about identity and worldview. These last 2 are subtle, but in my opinion, the most reliable of the entire They show up across cultures, age groups, and income levels. The 12th sign is they don't get triggered by other people's success in the same way most people do. A friend gets a raise, a coworker gets promoted, a relative buys a house. They congratulate genuinely. They don't compare because their financial life isn't running on the same ladder as everyone else's. Their scale is set internally, not externally. The 13th sign is the deepest one. They have a different relationship with the question, what do you do for a living? For most people, that question has one answer. Their job title. For someone with serious side income, the question is awkward because the honest answer is 2 answers, and they only want to give one in any given conversation. So they get good at deflecting, at pivoting, at giving an answer that's technically true but doesn't fully describe what they're up to. You'll notice it once you start watching for it. the hesitation, the brief calibration before they speak, the slight under-disclosure. And here's an interesting nuance. The deflection changes based on context. At a wedding, they say one thing. At a parent-teacher conference, they say something slightly different. At a networking event, something else. That contextual calibration isn't lying. It's portfolio management. They have multiple income streams, and they share whichever one fits the situation they're in. But here's the part most people completely miss, and it might be the most important point in this entire video. The reason people hide their side income isn't shame. It isn't even strategy in the corporate sense. It's much simpler than that. Visible side income invites a tax on social capital. The moment people know you have it, the dynamics of every relationship shift. Family members start asking for money. Friends start expecting you to pay for more things. Coworkers stop including you in certain conversations because they assume you don't need this job. Neighbors talk about you differently. Old friends from high school reach out asking for business advice. Distant relatives appear with investment opportunities. None of this is malicious, but all of it is exhausting. And once you've built side income, the easiest thing to do is to never tell anyone. There's also a deeper layer here that's worth naming. Society as a whole has weird rules about who is allowed to be quietly successful. A high salary at a recognized employer is socially accepted. A second income from your own business often isn't. People react to it differently. Sometimes with admiration, more often with subtle resentment. The path of least resistance for anyone building real side income is to just not provoke that reaction. Don't display it. Don't talk about it. Don't change your visible lifestyle. The result is an invisible class of people in modern America who quietly built financial security and then quietly kept that security to themselves. Most of them aren't rich. They're not even close, but they have something the average person doesn't have. They have optionality. And here's the deeper economic shift this represents. The Bankrate survey shows side hustle income trends are bifurcating. The median is dropping. The average is roughly flat. But the top 10% of side hustlers keeps pulling further away from the rest. That gap is the thing. The people you're now able to read are mostly in the top 10%. They figured out the structural difference between casual side income and a real second income stream. Their casual coworkers driving for delivery apps are not the same population. The signs are different. The math is different. The behavior is different. A casual side hustler driving for a delivery app talks about it openly. They mention the hours. They complain about the wear and tear on the car. They show you the screenshot of their weekly earnings. The serious second income builder almost never does any of that. The signs are inferred. The pattern emerges across months of small details, not from any single conversation. You can tell which group someone is in by how they handle, basically every category of conversation about money and work. The casual side hustler talks about it. They mention the gig. They share the numbers. They complain about the hours. The serious second income builder almost never talks about it. The signs are inferred. The pattern emerges across months of small details, not from any single conversation. That's why these 13 signs are useful. They give you a way to see what's quietly happening in your social circle without anyone having to tell you. And here's where this gets practical. If you can identify someone in your life who has serious side income, you have access to one of the most valuable resources in modern personal finance. Not because they'll teach you their system. They probably won't. They've spent too much time hiding it to suddenly share. But because you can study them, watch what they do, not what they say. See where they focus. See what they don't worry about. See what they're willing to spend on and what they're not. That's free education. And it's the kind of education that almost never shows up in courses, books, or YouTube videos because it's local. It's specific. It's grounded in your actual context. The proximity effect is real, by the way. The single biggest predictor of whether someone will build side income themselves is whether they know someone else who already has. Closeness to it makes it feel possible. Look, the goal of this video isn't to teach you to investigate your friends and family. That would be weird and probably unhealthy. The goal is to teach you to see the invisible economy that's quietly running underneath the visible economy of jobs and paychecks. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. And the deeper question is whether the signs are starting to apply to you, whether you're moving in the direction of becoming one of these quietly secure people You don't need a six-figure side business. You don't need to quit your job. You don't need to make any dramatic move at all. You just need to build one income stream outside your employer. Slowly, quietly, without telling anyone. Just like the people on this list. That single move puts you on the same path they walked. And the path, once you're on it, tends to widen. The widening isn't linear. Year 1 feels stuck. Year 2 starts to feel different. Year 3, the signs in this video start to apply to you whether you intended them to or not. You're not failing for not having gotten there yet. The system isn't designed to show you these patterns. Most people walk past them their entire lives. The math doesn't care about how loud or quiet your money is. It only cares about how much shows up next month. And the people in your life with the signs in this video figured that out earlier than most. They didn't have any secret. They just stopped waiting for permission. They picked one small thing, made it repeatable, and kept it quiet enough that nobody got in their way. Trust me. Your future self will thank you for noticing what's been happening in plain sight, no matter which side of it you decide to land on.